Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Prima Advanced User Forum. This is Chris, and I'll be your host today. So today we're going to be going over ISG EDI setup. So I'll show you how to set up all the settings correctly for ordering EDI purchase orders from your vendors or from your ISG vendors, and what that order is going to look like once it's all set up. Tyler is going to be in the chat if you have any questions during the presentation. Otherwise, we'll host the normal Q&A session at the end. All right, so ISG EDI, the setup is going to be a little bit different than some of your other vendors because ISG is a collective of vendors rather than just one singular one. But to get started, the first thing we want to look for is the ISG catalog. You've got to make sure that your database has it uploaded. So it's going to be under publications and then catalogs. And then you want to look for ISG direct cost file. So you want to make sure it's here and that it's in date. If you do not have the ISG catalog here, you can request it on the marketplace. So to find that, that's back on the dashboard tab here. And then there's a button down here called Prima Marketplace. If you click on that, it'll open up another window here. It'll take you to our marketplace. And then this is just a list of a lot of the catalogs that we have available. So if we scroll down, you're going to see one called ISG Purchasing Association. You're going to see that has EDI available marked. And so here's where you would request that catalog. If you don't have an ISG account already set up, you can visit their website and go ahead and sign up. If you do have the account, all you got to do is say request catalog right here. You're going to type in your company name and then your ISG account code and your email address right here, and then click on order catalog. And that'll go ahead and let us know that you want the ISG catalog, and we'll go ahead and put it on your database for you. But once you do have the catalog, just making sure that's all set up, the next thing to do is go ahead and set up an ISG company. So the way ISG works is, let me pull it up here. The way ISG works is when you send a purchase order to an ISG vendor, you'll send it directly to that vendor. Like you'll send it directly to 3M or Avery or whichever vendor. But when you receive the purchase invoice, it's going to come directly from the ISG organization. So to set up that system, what you'll need to do is set up a parent-child relationship between ISG and the vendors. So you need to create an ISG company here to act as the parent. And then all of the other vendors like the 3M and the Avery are going to be child companies to this parent. So it doesn't have to be this exact account code or company name, but you do need to make sure that you have an ISG company set up. And then all you got to do is just make sure that it's selected as a vendor, as the company type, and probably make sure that the billing address is correct in here. But once that's set up, we're ready to go ahead and get started with the vendors. So we have a help article on our help desk about the ISG setup, and it'll give you a list of vendors available for ISG. So to get there, you can click on this little question mark button up here at the top, and that'll open up a fresh desk site here. This is our help desk. So in the search here, we can type in ISG. It's going to be this one here, ISG catalog and EDI setup. So this is going to contain the step-by-step instructions of everything we're going to talk about today. But at the bottom, there's going to be this table here. It's going to give you all of the vendors that are available under ISG. So you can take a look at the vendors and see which one you want. Let's say you want 3M, for example. We have a column here that says accepts EDI PO. This is how you know that these vendors accept EDI orders. Some of them do not. So you want to double check that before you set it up, that they do accept EDI in the first place here. But yeah, let's say we want to use 3M. What we'll do is we'll go back to Prima and we'll create a new company for 3M. And you can give it whatever name and whatever account code you want here. Make sure that the company type is vendor, and then you probably want to put in an accurate billing address here, and make sure all your settings are entered in, whatever is set as default for you guys. Here we go. So we have our 3M company created here. First things first, we want to make sure that the ISG company is going to be our parent to make sure our purchase invoice is going to be correct. So you type in ISG and hit save. And once that's saved, you can change the invoice location here to parent. So that way your invoices will come from the ISG company. Perfect. Now we can go back to the, or head over to the supplier tab here. And in this vendor reference area, we want to type in the manufacturer code for 3M. So if we go back to our table over here, this vendor number is what we're looking for. So for 3M, it's going to be MMM right here. So we can just copy that and put that into the vendor reference right here. That's weird, didn't copy over. Let's type it in here. So it's important that this matches exactly to what's in the table. So it's usually wise just to copy it. The vendor reference uses this area to match with the items in the ISG catalog based on the manufacturer code. So you need to make sure that it's all capitalized and there's no extra spaces or anything like that, or else it might not match correctly. But once that's in, we can go down to the EDI setup right here. Connection type is going to be ISG EDI. And then you want to type in your ISG EDI username right here. And same with the ISG EDI password. And then your ISG account code goes in here. So if you're unsure what your EDI username and password is, there's someone you can email over at ISG. His name is Eric, I believe. Here we are. Eric Jensen at ISG. We have a little template of an email requesting the username and password if you're unsure of that. But once you type that in, we'll just go ahead and hit save. And then the next thing set up is going to be the delivery codes. That's going to be your delivery types like the standard wrap and pack and drop ship. So we'll just set up one for each. You want to click on add down here at the bottom. And then for standard, it's going to be capital S for the code. Type in standard as the description, and then system type is standard. And then same thing for wrap and pack. It's going to be capital P for the code. Wrap and pack here. And then system type is wrap and pack. And then depending on the vendor, it might also have dropship set up. So if we go back to our table, there's another column here that says accept dropship orders. So it's going to say yes if they do accept dropship, or no if they don't. Or it might say contract if it depends on your account with ISG. So in this case, 3M does have dropship set up, so we'll go ahead and set that up. It's going to be capital D for dropship. And then, okay. Cool. And then that is all of the required setup. This vendor is ready to go now. Something that's not required but is useful is the reorder amount. So you can set up reorder amounts based on weeks or based on your history. This reorder setting was covered in a previous forum. So that's available on YouTube if you want a little bit of extra information on how to set that up. But it's useful if you order frequently from like 3M, this company. But besides that, we're done here. 3M is set up and ready to go. And then you basically just repeat that process for all of the vendors in this list. So if you want to set up Avery next, for example, you would just go ahead and create an Avery company and then put in all the same information. If you know in advance that you want to use like a whole bunch of these companies, like 30, 40, a whole bunch of them, you can just shoot us an email or give us a call and let us know that that's what you want to do. And we can write a script to do a lot of the setup for you, like create the companies and enter in a lot of that information. So just let us know and we'll speed up the process for you. But you would repeat the process, set up all the companies you need to. And then once that's done, there's one more button to click. If we go back to the publications, catalogs, and then go back to your ISG catalog, you're going to want to click on this Create Supplier Records button. I won't click on it now because it takes a couple minutes to load. But what that'll do is it'll take a look at the vendor reference that you set in this field here and match it with the items in the ISG catalog. So for example, this 3M item here has a manufacturer code, M, and that's what it's going to match with on the vendor. So when you click on that button, that suppliers button, it'll go ahead and list 3M as an available vendor for this item based on it matching on this manufacturer code. Cool. And then that's it. Your ISG is all set up once you click on that button. And you're ready to go ahead and start EDI ordering. So as an example, we'll just go ahead and use this item here. We'll place an order. There we go. You might have like a default supplier set up already, but 3M will now be an available company or available supplier, I mean. I've done this a couple times, so there's multiple here, but yeah, it's now selectable. You can save and we'll just go ahead and place an order with them. And don't forget your order sources and the reference, of course. There we go. Cool. Here we go. Here is our item. And so down here, you'll be able to see that the 3M shows up just like any other vendor. And so we'll just go ahead and purchase it here. You can see EDI is an available option now. So the setup is correct. Something to keep in mind with your purchase orders is that even if you send it over EDI, not every vendor sends acknowledgements back. So an acknowledgement is the file that we receive from the vendor that tells us that they've received the order and they're going to fulfill it. Or it tells us also if there's any back orders or shortages or like cost changes or anything like that, any changes to the purchase order. So if we go back to our table again, it'll also tell you whether or not they send purchase order acknowledgements here. So as an example, let's find one. Here we go. American Tombow, for example, you can send an EDI order to them. They'll receive it, but they won't send us an acknowledgement back. So even though you can send them the order, they won't tell us whether or not they received it or if there's any problems with the order. So in that scenario, you'll have to go ahead and log into ISG or maybe this vendor's website and double check that they received the order and that everything's okay. There's no back orders or anything. On a similar note, if they send us acknowledgements, they'll also send us an electronic purchase invoice. So it'll just kind of appear in your purchase invoice list and you won't have to create it. But if they don't send acknowledgements, It will not send us an electronic purchase invoice. So when it comes time to create that purchase invoice, you'll have to manually go to invoicing, purchase invoices, and then click on available lines to create it when the time comes. And then I think that's it. That's everything you need to know about the ISG EDI setup. We'll go ahead and open the floor for questions.